Edit.
I want us to try another dictation here, and there's going to be a new rhythmic element that's incorporated into this dictation that we'll find out in just a moment. So let me go ahead and play this for you, and then as we are dictating it, again, I will go and track. Instead of trying to work on pitch things, I will first off, starting with rhythms, tracking along where the beats fall in relationship to these notated pulses I have here, because we're in 4/4. And let's just see what happens as we try and dictate this. I'll go ahead and follow along with rhythms on top. All right, so what we might have noticed, we had holding for 2 counts, quarter, quarter, I think it was quarter, quarter, rest, 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 quarter, quarter, bum, bum, bum. So what's going on with this bad boy right here? We have a interesting situation where we are kind of occurring a note on the second half of beat 4. So the important thing to consider is whenever we have anything that we presume is moving faster than the pulse itself, is we need to get into our head, how does this subdivide into 8th notes? How does this subdivide into 16th notes? So for starters, let's go ahead and decide, are we moving at the 8th note speed? And if we're keeping the pulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go ahead, and the system we'll use for rhythm syllables is that instead of saying for these in between pulses, this is quarter value, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's consider that these 8th note subdivisions of each beat, holy God, what was that? 8th note subdivisions is going to be ands. So this is going to be called, this is some art, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So when we talk about things that occur at a certain part of the beat, something is occurring maybe in this case, if here's beat 1, 2, 3, and 4, in the second half of it, we would say this is the and of 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 is how we would talk about this. To notate this value, basically what we're saying is instead of having this this duration being a hold on this first quarter note, which is a rest because nothing happens here, we say quarter, quarter, and we have 2 options. We can notate this into 2 8th notes, and we tie the first one. So this would sound like if there was no tie, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. But by tying this over, giving this an extra half duration length, the new rhythm becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Like that. So let's go ahead and decide how we're going to notate the rest of this melody. We decided that we're in the key of D flat major. And so if this is our starting pitch, and this is where she started singing, let's go ahead and count down to where do is. Sol, fa, mi, re, do, sol, do, sol, mi, do, is how we can go ahead and consider that whole chord in our mind. So we thought this whole thing started with, maybe now instead of me just telling you, I will listen to it again with the melody, and let's try to apply some pitches to this. So there we are. We map this back onto where our rhythms were. This is half, sol, sol, do, sol. Half rest is above the staff. Quarter, quarter, do, ti, dotted. Eighth, half, and half. And notice, of course, in this case, I decided to notate this as a dotted figure. Remember that dotted figures mean duration of the pulse plus an extra half duration. So this guy is equivalent to this guy. So that's the notion behind listening for ties and dotted values.